Om Namo Venkatesaya. Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavathanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashanteye Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanideye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. Tismarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchate Namastasmi Vishnave Prabha Vishnave Lakshmi Nata Samarambam Nate Amana Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandatami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Namo Venkatesaya. My pranams to everybody. So we are in chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Gukha Yogam, where Bhagavan says, even people who are not authorized to learn Vedas or chant Vedas, they also, as long as they surrender to me and then take me, they take me as their shelter and does bhakti, all those people also can come to me. So Bhagavan doesn't distinguish whether he's an aged person or an young person, Dhruva or Prahlada or young persons. But then Bhagavan doesn't look at the age of the person, nor does it look at the gender of the person, whether it's a male or a female. Andal went into this Srirangam and then got merged into the Archavatara of Ranganatha. So he doesn't look at the gender of the person. He doesn't look at the person whether he's rich or poor. He doesn't look at whether the person is educated or not educated. He doesn't look at any of the, whether which Varna he belongs to or which ashrama he belongs to. Nothing he looks at it. What does he look at? He only looks at whether that person has a longing for him, whether he wants him or not. Only the criterion that he looks at is whether the person is interested in him and does bhakti. That's the only criterion that Bhagavan looks at. And that's what he says. Mamgi partha vyapashritya yopisyu papayoneha striyo vaishyas tadashrudaha tepi yanti paramgatin. So all the people who worship me ultimately get into me, take shelter into me. Let's move on to sloka number 33.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om.
Kim punar brahmanaha punya bhakta rajarshayasthada anityamasukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam.
So now he's addressing Arjuna. He's saying, Arjuna, if that is the case, the people who don't recite, who don't have the authority to learn the Vedas, what about people like Brahmanas and then the Rajarishis? That means all the Kshatriyas who have the authority, who have the, this privilege of learning the Vedas and understanding the meaning of Vedas. Those people, Kim Punaha, that means what to speak of these Brahmanaha, the Brahmanas, Punya Bhaktaha, Rajarishaya. Rajarishaya means people, the Kshatriya people who have got into this, this spiritual path. So they are the Rajarishaya, like Janaka or this Vishwamitra and those kind of people. Tata Punya Bhaktaha, they are all, these people have who have got this bhakti towards me, and then they are all people, meritorious people. So what to speak of these kind of people? So that means these people also have the greater advantage of coming closer to me. That's what it is. They should realize that what should they realize? Anityam asukam lokam imam. So this loka, this world which we are all existing today is anityam. That means it is not. It is only transit. It is not permanent. Asukam. It is also not giving us permanent happiness. It gives some glimpses of happiness now and there, but it's not the one which is giving us the permanent happiness. So understand this loka. Whatever loka you are in is not a loka which is worth living in this, because it is not permanent and it is always giving us the sorrow. Prapya. So having got this kind of a world, bhajas swaman. So Arjuna, so please worship me only. So he's saying, if that is the kind of people who can, even the other type of people can get moksha, what to speak of the people who have been born in these royal families as well as these Brahmanas, who have the privilege of knowing the Vedas and then understand the meanings and they literally understand what the purpose of these various Vedas are. And once they understand that, they understand this world is full of sorrow and also it is only impermanent. So there is no point in sticking on to this world. So having understood the nature of this world, please bhajas swaman. So understand that the purpose of this life is only to gain moksha, attain to me. And therefore understand the purpose of that life, oh Arjuna, then you start bhajas swaman, start worshipping me. That's what Bhagavan says. We'll go to the last sloka, 34.
Manmana bhava madbhakto मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगो नाम नवमोऽध्यायः.
This is like the summary of this entire chapter of 9. Bhagavan is, in fact, this is one of the important slokas of this chapter 9. In fact, Bhagavan is using almost the identical sloka again back in sloka in chapter number 18, sloka number 65. It's almost, the first line is identical with the second one also. The first word is the first two words are the same. Only the third, fourth, and fifth is just, he has changed it in the sloka number 65 of chapter 18. So there he is saying, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktyavam atmanam matparan. That's what he is saying here. In that 65, what he is saying is, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani priyosimi. That's what he is going to say in chapter 65. So the summary of this chapter 9 is nothing but the Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam is what? That is only do bhakti to me. That's all that is Bhagavan is ultimately concluding in this chapter, this sloka of 34. It's like the summary. Manmana bhava, that means mana, manas. So always think about me. Let your mind be always with me. That's what it is. In Manmana bhava. Mad bhaktaha. Oh my devotees. Oh my devotees, always be in my, this always in my thought, in my thought process. That is, always think about me. Madhyaji. Madhyaji means keep on worshipping me only. Madhyaji. Yaja. Yaja, the root word yaja means to worship. So Madhyaji, see, please worship me. Mam namaskuru. So that means do prostrations to me. Offer, the obeisance to me. That is the prostrations to me. Mam namaskuru. So mameva yuktva eva atman. So in this way, you are always uniting your atma. Atma means the mind and the intellect with me. Yukta means to get united. Eva atmanam. Matparayana. That means you are seeking me as my goal. Para ayana. Ayana means the ultimate, the goal. Para means ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is only me. So they are thinking of me as the ultimate goal. Matparayana. Mameva aishyasi. So that means you will ultimately, mam eva, is using the word eva means you will only reach me only. So that means ultimately you will reach me only if you do this. So everybody, of course, wants only Bhagavan, because we have seen in up to this 9th chapter, the only loka where we reach Bhagavan, there is no question of coming back into this. So all other lokas right up to the Brahma lokam, that is where the Chaturmukha Brahma exists. Everybody, whosoever goes into that loka, up to that loka, he will be complete. He has to come back again to this Martya lokam. In fact, he also used the word, no? Chine punya Martya loka vishanti. The people who follow the various karmas enunciated in this, karma kanda of the Vedas, they go to different lokas. And then ultimately they come back to, after that punyas are exhausted, they come back to this world only. Again, Bhagavan said, whosoever worships different lords. So Devata, whosoever worship Devata, they go to Devata loka. Chandra loka, Surya loka, whatever Devata they worship, they go to the different lokas. Similarly, the people who worship the Pitrus, they go to the Pitru loka. The people who worship this, the ghost, Pisasa, Chandra, those things, they go to those kind of lokas. And my bhakta come to me only. That's what Bhagavan said also. And again, he said, right up to the Brahma lokam, all things will have to come back. People will have to come back. And the loka, once they reach me, there is no question of they coming back into this world. So that's what Bhagavan is also saying. For to do that, what is the process? The process is only bhakti. So always think about me. So that means have the thought of me. He says, you give the mind to me, because nobody in this world wants our mind. Supposing if I say, I want to give your mind to you, nobody says, no, I'm not interested. You give me your wealth, or you give me at least the physical effort. That means give this body at least to me. That means the physical effort or physical efforts, people are interested, helping them. But then when I say, I want to give my mind to you, mind is of no use to anybody in this world. Then Bhagavan says, that's what I want. So give me your mind to me. That means manmanabha. So always think about me. Oh my devotee, Madhyachi, always worship me. Mam namaskar, pay obeisance to me, as well as always surrender to me, or do worship, do prostrations to me. Then once you have got this mind, you always, the mind and the intellect always united with me, and take me as your goal. Ultimately, I am your goal. ultimately you will reach me only. That's what Bhagavan is saying. So this is the conclusion of this chapter 9, which is said to be the most secret. Raja Vidya means the most secret. Raja Guhyam. Raja Guhya means the most secret. Raja Vidya means the greatest of the knowledge. The king of the knowledge. The king of the knowledge is what? Understanding what is the purpose of this life. The purpose of this life is ultimately to reach Bhagavan. And the means of reaching the Bhagavan, the easiest means is only becoming a bhakta. And again, Bhagavan also gave a very simple solution. Yat karoshi, so whatever you do it as an offering to me. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give, whatever tapas or whatever you are doing it, do it as an offering to me. That's the simple way of following this path of getting into the fold of Bhagavan. And once you do that, all your shubha pal, that means all your the papas and the punyas get completely exhausted, and then finally you will reach me about. That's what Bhagavan says. Again, once you do that, when all your karmas get exhausted, you develop love for Bhagavan, and that's what Bhagavan is ultimately ending. Say that Manmana Bhava. So always think about me, do worship me, and then do namaskarams to me, and then with this kind of a mind and intellect always getting united with me. In fact, the other sloka also we saw. Once a person gets into that mode, he doesn't have to even worry about his existence in this world. Ananyas chintayantamam ejana paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogachyam. That means Bhagavan said in the 22nd sloka, if a person has gotten there no other thought other than but just thinking about me, that person, I take care of whatever is required for him in this world, as well as protect all those things that is required to be protected. So those two things I take care of on my responsibility. Bhagavan says vahamyam. That means that yogachyamam vahamyam. That means I take on that responsibility. So all that we need to do is develop the bhakti for the Bhagavan. Once you do that, you don't have to even worry about your existence in this world. Whatever is required by you, Bhagavan will provide. And of course, we saw that example of the Sridhara Swami who wanted to change it to Dadami, but Bhagavan corrected it back and then changed it to Vahamyam. Again, whatever is need to be done, what Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. Tadam Bhakti Upartam Ashnami Prayatatma. That means whatever you want to offer with love and affection. It doesn't matter what you offer. Bhagavan doesn't look at what you offer, but what he looks at is the bhava, the what you call the emotions behind what you're offering is what is Bhagavan looks at. And whatever you offer, if the emotion is with bhakti, he accepts whatever. Even it may be a very smallest thing in this world, but doesn't matter. Bhagavan accepts it as it is. So that's what Bhagavan is ultimately concluding in this chapter 9, saying that the ultimate thing that is required is only bhakti. So you have developed the bhakti for me, always think about me, and definitely you will reach me above. That's what Bhagavan's assurance that is giving here. So with this, the chapter 9 concludes. It is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, so Upanishad. So this is considered to be one of the Upanishads. So Bhagavad Gita, and therefore Upanishad. That means Upa means close and Ni means Nischay Shat, sitting. So the Sishya sitting in front of the Guru, and then listening to this Raja Vidya, the Brahma Vidya. So that is why it is called as Upanishad. That is Arjuna sitting in front of Krishna and receiving this great knowledge, Raja Vidya. So Brahma Vidya, so Brahma Vidyayam. So that means the knowledge about this Brahman. This is what is being talked of in this Bhagavad Gita. Yoga Sastri. Yoga means used to unite. That means the means of reaching the Bhagavan. It is not only it gives us what is the Paratattvam or the Parabrahma, but also a means of reaching him. Like Bhagavan in the chapter 9 also talked about Bhakti as the means of reaching him. And therefore Yoga Sastri, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, in the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, there is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, the greatest of the knowledge, the king of this knowledge as well as the king of the secret. So that means Bhagavan doesn't want to give this knowledge to all and sundry. He wants to give it to only the people. In fact, he said, started by saying Anasuya. That means you don't have any jealous, and therefore you are the fit person to receive this knowledge. And therefore Bhagavan looks at the quality of his disciple and only shares this kind of a knowledge. And therefore, fortunately for us, I think Bhagavan's blessing is there, and therefore he is sharing this knowledge with all of us. Otherwise, even to get into this fold of Bhagavad Gita is not so easy to get him. So because of the karmas or the punya karmas that we have done perhaps in a previous birth or as well as the current birth, we have been blessed by Bhagavan to receive this knowledge. So Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, the most secret as well as the most great knowledge. Nama Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga Nama Navamobdya. This is the 9th chapter. With this, we have concluded almost half of Bhagavad Gita by His grace. So let's start the recapitulation of this the chapter 9 from tomorrow onwards. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramadhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Krishna 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 Krishna.